Welcome back to Spencer FYI. And this time of the year, we are always talking about the Tree of Joy that the JCs run. And people may not be aware of the fact that there's quite a history to the Tree of Joy. And I have two representatives of the Joy family, not necessarily the Joy family, but how the Tree of Joy came about, right?
The Joy Roberts' family.
All right, perfect. So grandson, great-granddaughter, and let's talk a little bit about how the Tree of Joy came about.
Well, if I go back to the beginning, my granddad moved here from Leadville, California, Colorado, as a boy. Lived here for the rest of his life. He had he was an insurance man as an adult, and then when he was a little guy, he remembered, and they were very poor, and he remembered hanging his Christmas stocking with tender care, and then waking up in the morning and finding nothing in it. That had a dramatic impact on his life, to the point that as he was older, he made a promise to himself, no kid will experience that, not in my town. And then, let's see, when did it first start, Shannon?
He started in...
He was Santa from...
about 1913. And he, basically what he would do, he would find old toys, and he would take them to his house, and he would fix them and repaint them in his kitchen. It started just in his kitchen. And then he would give them out to needy children. So that went on for about 2 years without really any publicity or anything, which is what he preferred. He was a very humble man, didn't expect anything in return. 1915, then my brother found an article, and it was in a church, and that was the first mention of joy. And it said that if you knew of any needy children that wouldn't be getting anything for Christmas, get their name and age and get it to Joy Roberts, and he would take care of that. So,
and that came directly from the big man to the newspaper, and that's the way it was promoted.
Yeah.
And of course, that started the whole ball rolling. He would take community donations to help with it, but he was always short. So he made it up with his own money. Nobody knew that. And he made it up, and for years, he did it that way.
Yeah. He wanted, he would accept money, but he always said that he liked fixing toys. So there was one article in a paper a long time ago, and it said, don't throw away that toy, give it to Joy. Because he loved fixing them, and that's what he had his workshop. And if he had a toy that was beyond repair, he would save all the parts and then put it together. And so that's what he did.
He started fixing the toys in the garage of his home. Later, that went beyond what the garage would hold, and so we just found out. My son, who just currently wrote a history of this, gave us a message that the trophy shop here in town was my granddad's insurance company upstairs. Downstairs was Santa's workshop. And we didn't know that until just yesterday. So Joy was, Grandpa Joy was, like Shannon said, a very humble fellow, wanted no glory for himself. He gave out of his own pocket, he did the work, he did the distribution, the whole 9 yards, for forever. And then somehow the cat got left out of the bag, and maybe Santa did it himself, saying, if you got some money you want to give it to Joy. And it just developed from then. Later on, anybody that wanted to join the Goodfellows group, all they had to do was make a donation. And that group became the distribution center for all these toys. and continued, I believe, all the way until my granddad's death. And then the local JCs picked it up. And we got the nicest invitation from them the other day. We won't be able to do it, but they invited us to join them for the toy wrapping and distribution here in town. That would have been so neat, but we just can't arrange that, you know. But it would have been just really nice.
Well, what did bring you to town?
So my brother wrote the book, and with that, so I was helping him just do the proofreading, and reading through it, I just thought it was time for my dad to come back and see it. My dad's 82 years old, to come back and see it in person, and see the tree, and see his grandfather's legacy, and that it's still going on. That because of his grandfather, because of Joy Roberts, over 100 years later, kids in Spencer and all Clay County too, they don't go without. The way that my dad touched on it earlier is that the letters, originally in about, again, 1915, kids were encouraged to write letters to Santa Claus, and they were taken to the post office, and then they were given to Joy. Later then, there were letters from Santa that said, write your letters to me, Santa. They'll be given to Joy Roberts because him and I work hand in hand, and he'll make sure that I get those letters.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's kind of how it started, and all through the Depression and everything, he was able to continue. Like I said, he didn't mind spending donated money on toys, but he preferred finding like old toys and redoing them. And not only toys, but there are stories in the book that talk about he would also take food to needy families, and he would buy coal sometimes, and that came out of his own pocket if people were cold.
One of the events that Scott, my son, found and put in the book was years and years and years ago, when this distribution of toys first started. There was the equivalent of the meander almost, with bringing Santa into town. And my granddad, dressed in his Santa suit, had a wagon, horse-drawn, full of toys and stuff, down what was then Main Street. And there were about 600 children in that parade. And that's kind of how that all started too.
He arranged the first parade and also the first municipal Christmas tree in Spencer, and that was in 1915.
Wow.
Yeah, but 600 kids, that's just amazing. It says they gave out like over 1,000 bags of candy.
Wow.
And the city just loved it so much, they
embraced it.
Yep, they created that, so.
Awesome. Did your dad and were you all involved in helping with this as well?
Nope. My mother, Joy's daughter. Mary Joyce, did help, was involved, but as a little guy this big, I didn't know about that.
You were what, 5?
I was 5 when he passed away.
Okay.
And I didn't know about that. I learned about it. And we wanted to come out for the event, 1, to see it, 2, to drag up memories. I could not believe it. We have a picture, it's in the book, of me at about 5, dressed in my brother's great big huge winter coat, sitting in a snowdrift outside of Santa's house. Yesterday, we drove around. I knew it was there. I stopped, and the Lord provided the snow, and so I got a picture in the snow of Santa's house as it is now, over on 5th.
We recreated the picture.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
So we have a then and now picture that we did. You can imagine at 5 years old, I don't have much memory of it. I have more memory of my doting grandmother, you know, because she was always there, Lena. And they never told me that Santa was my grandfather. I imagine that I got to sit on his lap, but I didn't know it. It's the reason I wanted to come out is he was a very, very special guy. I made a comment earlier that if I was describing him as almost scriptural, he cared so much more about others than himself, and he wanted no glory for it. He ultimately conceded a little bit when he found out that if he was interviewed and things like that, it brought more donations in to accomplish what he wanted to accomplish. But he never, ever thought to be glorified or anything. And he played it down. Oh yeah, it's nothing. It was an interesting little story that Scott found of a young boy being interviewed, I don't know, by local newspaper or just somebody.
He was in a store, and the clerk asked him.
And the clerk asked him, "What do you want from Santa Claus?" And the little guy is, I have no idea how old he was, but it was, gee, everybody knows that Mr. Roberts is Santa Claus, you know.
And so, that's what the kids believed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what they believed.
It's awesome.
Then Granddad was asked once, because of what he did, what do you tell a kid when the kid asks, is Santa Claus real? And Granddad said, you don't. He'll figure it out. She'll figure it out. Don't take it away from him.
Just let him believe.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah. So what has this trip meant to you?
Oh, wow. First of all, like I said earlier, I had no idea that Grandpa's insurance company was for the trophy. And we walked in, wandered around, the owner wasn't there, left a note, hey, come on, be comfortable.
Typical Iowa, that's what we've heard.
And,
here's my number, I'm not here, call me if you need me.
We got to go down in Santa's workshop. Now, I had played in the garage, Santa's workshop, but I had no idea about what we just learned. And that was nice. Like I said, I was also in Spencer, apparently, 5th, 6th grade at the old Lincoln School. And so some of my memories are from there. I mean, that's why I could remember the little market. That's why I could remember Lincoln School and walking by with occasional stops at the little market going to school, along with about a bajillion other kids. Just things like that. The train whistle. It was amazing, the memory, the first time they blew that after I got here. And I realized it was so close to our home. Just things like that. And what I haven't met yet is old folks that remembered him. That happened to my grandson Noah, who was working in a retirement center as a nutritionist. And he got chatting with one of the gentlemen.
In Washington.
Oh.
Up in the state of Washington, yeah. And he got chatting with a gentleman, and the gentleman said, well, I'm from Iowa. And Noah asked, oh, where? Spencer? Noah's interest went right straight up, and he said, my great-granddaddy used to be Santa Claus in Spencer. And the gentleman basically, he said, Joey Roberts? Yeah, he says, I remember him. Noah was stunned because this just happened a couple of years ago. And to run into somebody that actually was, as a child, was acquainted with your great-great-granddaddy, that was quite an impact for all of us. You know, we thought that was really pretty neat.
Small world, right?
For me, my whole idea why I wanted my dad to come out here, I mean, to see it. But also, we don't want Joy's story forgotten. He was so beloved by Spencer. And when you hear the Tree of Joy, joy is it's a Christmas word, it's a emotion. And a lot of people don't realize that the Tree of Joy and the toy drive is named after a person. And I don't want him to be forgotten. We don't want him to be forgotten. So that was one of the reasons why we came out and we reached out to people, because I want his story told again. And it has warmed my heart. We went to Sister's Cafe today for breakfast. And we walked in, and a lady, she actually recognized my dad, but she was telling us, she goes, I had no idea. And a couple other ladies we were talking, they said, we had no idea. And every time someone says that to me, it just makes me feel so good. I just feel like we're honoring, his legacy, and we want the story to go on. And so, like for me, every time I've met somebody and they're like, that's really neat, I'm like, that's why we're here.
Now, I have to admit, if you were going to have a Santa Claus for Christmas joy, it couldn't be better than to be named Joy.
It's true, yeah.
And if you do any research on it, you'll find it sometimes with Earl Joy, but it's usually, he was known in the community as E-Joy. And but yeah, is a man with a legacy, and we don't want it lost.
It's amazing. So how can folks get the book? Is the book available for folks?
Go ahead, Shannon, you
yeah.
know about it.
So the book, it's available on Amazon
And Barnes & Noble.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that one also, but, so it's at Amazon, and it's When Santa Lived in Iowa. Mm-hmm. And if they go into Amazon, or they can look up my brother's name, he's the author, Scott Furtick, then they can find it. And it's great. It not only covers joy, but it covers the history of Spencer, going back, it covers the Spencer fire, and a lot of the building of the Clay County Fair, because my great-grandfather was very involved in that. And
he was part of the instrumental team that organized and put on the very first Clay County Fair.
Oh. Yeah.
And then he kind of ran it for a little bit, He'd prowl the neighborhood and keep people under control. And
he did security.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one story in there actually where he built a replica trolley, but put it on a chassis of a car, and they drove it to the World's Fair because you could drive in it. And he went up there to represent Iowa. But it just makes me laugh, the thought of driving down the highway and seeing a trolley drive by.
Yeah.
He was very good at advertising. So like I said, he did a lot of help. So the book covers that, and just a lot of fun stories about him. But the most thing that it focuses on is what he did for the children.
There is a copy of it, I believe, down at Arts.
Yes, the Arts on Grand has a copy of it, and they can also, they'll be able to tell people how to order it. What the plans are that they'll actually be getting a shipment of the books in. But it's just a great book. It's not a very long read. So when we were flying out, the stewardess on the airplane, we were all reading the same book, and she asked, and we explained the story. And anyway, so she was going to order one as a stocking stuffer for her roommate. But it's just, it feels like you're reading a Hallmark movie. That's what it feels like. Just this man that, like I said, literally just donated his whole life, because he said in there that the saddest thing that he can imagine, and it should never happen, is that a child being overlooked at Christmas is the saddest thing a boy or girl can experience, and he never wanted a child to experience that. So that was his whole thing, and that's what he did. It's estimated that the 35 years he gave out over like 14,000 toys, which is amazing. One man. And he did have a lot of help. We're thankful. I definitely want to thank the JCs, because they first donated $50 in 1946. And then they donated again $50 in 1947. Not having, obviously, when my grandfather died in October of 48. So the JCs then stayed involved. There was a lot of other community support, but it's continued now. So the JCs still have the Tree of Joy toy drive. And I just, again, it's so wonderful. But I want every person to know that when they donate to that toy drive, and we encourage people to, you know, help take care of the kids in your community, and the parents too. There isn't anything worse for a parent to wake up to watch your kids Christmas Eve and there's nothing under the tree and there's no food to eat.
And it doesn't matter whether you had enough donations or not, they got them.
Yeah, but when people are donating. When you're donating and buying a toy for the toy drive, just remember my great-grandfather. And that was the whole thing. Just remember this man that, like my dad when we were talking about the trip, the fact that 100 years later,
It's still happening.
something his grandfather did, it just, it means a lot to our family. It means just a lot. My late uncle, his daughters, the whole family, we just appreciate Spencer and the community and the JCs, and we just want to thank them.
Oh, I have to share one thing that just popped in when she said that. My grandfather, of course, had a Santa suit.
Oh, yeah.
After he passed, and my brother got out of the military, he inherited the Santa suit. Well, my brother now rests in Arlington, and they still had the Santa suit. Just recently, Scott went back east, and he inherited the inheritance, and he's posted a picture of him in the Santa suit with Jericho, our
Great-grandson.
yeah. So we have the tall great-great-grandson and the short great-great-great-grandson all dressed up like Santa.
I think there are too many greats in there.
Oh, have a few more.
Oh, yeah, there you go. They're wonderful people.
He was a great man.
There you go.
Great. But yeah, so because my uncle Dean, he was 11 years older than my dad. So he would have been 16 when Joy died. So he was very involved. There's one time where I guess they had too many donations, so they split it. So Joy went off with one group and Dean went with the other because he knew what to do. And so then, yeah, when Joy passed, my Uncle Dean had the suit. And yeah, when he was in the military, apparently he would do a lot of, show up as Santa Claus in that same suit. And then, like I said, when he passed, were his daughters, my cousins, they gave it to Scott because Scott's kind of the family historian. And yeah.
Awesome. That's an amazing history, and we're glad that Spencer is a part of it and that we've continued on. And like you said, the Tree of Joy, if you still want to make your donation, you have till December 12th.
Yes,
Drop it off here at SMU.
Please, we would appreciate it. Our
Spencer
family
is
is so
central
thankful.
to the whole thing.
Well, thanks for taking the time to make a trip out here and bring your grandfather's legacy back to light.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. It's great to know that there's a history behind the Tree of Joy.
Yes, and I have to say, I mean, the people of Iowa, everybody has been so wonderful and so welcoming. We've been joking that we're all going to move back to Iowa.
Perfect. Well, we'll take you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just wonderful. And the snow was perfect. And like I said, Nancy, we're just thankful for her she does the tree lighting. And so we were able to go last night and my dad was able to light the tree.
Yeah, they snuck that one in on me.
And I mean, I can't even put into words like how that felt for us and for my dad too. Like I said, we kind of snuck that one in, and just how meaningful it is. It's just such a connection to his grandfather.
It was one of those that, wow, that'd be kind of neat to be able to do, but I never thought I would do it. And then they hand me the switch. It was really nice. And so Spencer is very much the same. It's bigger now, but it's very much the same community that I knew as a child. And of course, Grandpa helped form it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
thanks so much for sharing your story, and
Our
happy to
pleasure.
be a part of that. And
And once again, go buy a toy, donate it. donate it for a needy child in Spencer, and we were forever thankful.
Awesome. Thanks much. And the book's available. Check that out either Arts on Grand or at Amazon. Like I said, you can get your donation in here at SMU. We can drop it off here in our lobby until December 12th. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.